Let's start our discussion. Today, we will discuss another thing. Apparently, it is different from DFT, but it is not at all. You see, that is circular convolution. Circular convolution. There are two types of convolution. One is called a normal convolution, just a convolution. It is a linear convolution actually. So a linear convolution, and another one is a circular convolution. Now, what is the definition of linear convolution? Let's see. It is, say, if we have a discrete time LTI system, DT LTI system, okay, whose impulse response function is HK. I think you know this thing already from the other part of this subject. Now, the discrete time LTI system. Now, if we have K as input, then our output Yk is the convolution between Xk and Hk, okay, which is equal to actually summation X Xm H K minus M, where M is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. So that is the definition. So this is actually called a linear convolution. Linear convolution or a simple convolution. And here a convolution in normal sense. So that is our mathematical pictorial representation of linear convolution. Here Xk, Hk, these are just some normal sequences, okay? But when Xk and Hk are periodic signals, then the concept of linear convolution cannot be applied. Then what it will come, I will tell you now. But before that, let me tell you one thing, that why suddenly we are introducing the concept of periodicity here, okay? We at least the periodicity of Xk can be realized because our Xk is the time domain samples collected from a periodic signal, okay, periodic continuous time signal. But how Hk can be periodic? That also we want to visualize actually. When two signals are periodic, Hk and Xk, then our Yk will be the convolution between X and H, obviously, but this is not our normal convolution or linear convolution. This is actually coming in the form of circular convolution. Now, why this is? I have made a statement. Now it is my task to justify this statement. But before that, I should tell you why suddenly we are introducing the concept of periodicity. Once we know the reason of coming periodicity, then only we can gradually advance towards the concept of circular convolution, which is applied to a periodic signal. Okay. Now, in one case, it may happen that the time samples, okay, are collected, may be collected from a continuous time that is analog, okay, periodic signal. Okay, so when our signal is periodic, now if we collect time sample, obviously our time samples will also be periodic. The sampled version will also be periodic. Okay, so these time samples collected from through the sampling process will be periodic. So hence the time samples collected through a sampling process are also periodic. That is the first reason of getting a periodic sequence in time domain. Another thing also we can get that if a set of time samples, okay, are obtained from a non-periodic signal, non-periodic analog, that is continuous time signal, okay, these time samples will be non-periodic, right? Now, if this set of time samples undergoes DFT operation and then again IDFT operation, the resulting set of samples are, this resulting set of sample is the reconstructed version of the original time samples. But after IDFT operation, they will be periodic in nature. So what is the method? Say our xk, it is non-periodic. We apply DFT operation. We get xn. That is, this is periodic. Now we apply IDFT. Then we get xk again. But that xk will be again periodic. Okay. So because we know the number of harmonics is equal to the number of time samples. Number of frequency sample equal to number of time sample. So when k is more than the periodic maximum value of sample, we get back the same samples in a periodic manner. So from non-periodic signal also, after these two successive operations, we get back the original signal, but in a periodic manner. So ultimately, we have to work out with periodic signals. Periodic signals. In that particular case, okay, when xk and another signal hk, okay, are becoming periodic, are having periodicity, then we cannot apply linear convolution. Okay, in that case, there will be a circular convolution. Now let's see what do you mean by this. In the next page, you will see. page number 2. Let these periodic samples either in domain are represented by XR, where XR is a sequence of periodic samples of n distinct values with r equal to 0, 1, 2, n minus 1, and periodicity is n. So small x is, it may be a time sample or a frequency sample, but there are n values. After that, the periodicity is, they are becoming periodic, so periodicity is n. Therefore, what we can write? We can plot it something like this way in a circular manner. Consider that we have a signal x0, one sample, then x1, then x2. This way we'll get it. Okay. Then we get x, n minus 2, x, n minus 1. There. Then it will be what? After that it will be xn, then xn plus 1, then xn plus 2. This way it will be the repeating itself. So xn is same as x0, xn plus 1 is same as x0, x1. Similarly, xn plus 2 is same as x2. They are just occurring in a repeated manner. So we can write it as, therefore, x r equal to x r plus n equal to x r plus 2n. So after 2 cycles, so xn plus 2n plus 3, then xn plus n minus 2, xn plus n minus 1, then x2n plus 1, x2n plus 2 will be there. This way it will be there. It will be that way. So in general, what we write? In general, x r plus p into capital N equal to xr, where p is an integer for any integer p. For any integer p. Now here, the index varies from r equal to 0 to n minus 1 only. After that, we'll just get back this one. Now, note one thing, when r exceeds n minus 1, the samples get repeated. Obviously, when it exceeds n minus 1, then we get the repetition. So this transformation of r exceeding n minus 1 in mathematical term is called R modulo n. R modulo n. Now, what is the definition then? Its definition is given as R within bracket Rn, R then suffix capital N. This is called R modulo n equal to R when R is in between 0 and n minus 1, and it is equal to remainder of R by n, where R is greater than equal to n. So that is the definition. Example. So let's see one example. We assume let n equal to 12. Then 4 modulo 12 is what? 4. Why? As 4 is in between R equal to 4. 4 is in between 0 and 11 is satisfied. As 4 is less than the modulo value n, that is 12, it is same. But what happens when it is more than 12? I write it in the next page, page number 3. But 15 modulo 12. This is equal to what? It is remainder of 15 by 12, which is equal to what? After division, we get the remainder as 3. So as, okay, 15 is greater than 12 is satisfied. That condition is satisfied. So ultimately, 12 modulo, 15 modulo 12 is 3 actually. So we can write it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we get back 3 again. So we get back 3 again. So evidently, x of k modulo n, x of k modulo n can be written as this way. In language, you can write it this way. X actually, okay. So this is equal to what? This is equal to xk, where k is in between 0 and n minus 1, and is equal to x of remainder of k by n, as k is greater than equal to n. Yeah. Now, this equation we write it as, that is the basic one, is equation 1, relation 1. That is the definition of Rn. And that definition x of k modulo n, we write it as equation 2, or relation 2 here. So how we can write it? In circular form, it is x2 n x3. So we are going that way. Then x12, this is x13, this is x14. That is x15. So 15 is x15 means x3. So 15 modulo 12, there are 12 samples, periodicity is 12. So 15 modulo 12 means 3 actually. Yeah. So you can write here x15 is same as x3. They are same actually. After modulation, modulo operation, or x of 15 modulo 12 is same as x3, okay, modulo 12, or simply we can write it as x3. Okay, that we can write it x3. Right. So that is our modulo operation. So when our two samples are having periodicity, means they are undergoing modulo operation, then how the linear convolution will shape itself. This particular thing we want to see now. So better I write it in the next page. Page number 4. So linear, so I write linear convolution between two periodic sequences having same periodicity, capital N, is given by yk equal to summation x1 m x2 k minus m. M is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. We are assuming that x1 and x2 they are having same periodicity of capital N. But what happens if their periodicities are not same? Then we have to go for zero padding. Okay, for the signal of lower periodicity, we will add required number of zeros, okay, after the trailing sample, and then we make them equal. We make the length of the two sequences equal. Once their sequences are becoming equal, that will be the new periodicity of the two signals, and now we can apply linear convolution. And then we'll see how the linear convolution will take its shape under the context of periodicity. Okay, so M is extending from minus infinity to plus infinity. So I just leave some terms, it's not written, but the same thing will be there, that it will be x1 m, x2 k minus m. M is varying from minus n to minus 1 plus x1 m, x2 k minus m. M is varying from 0 to n minus 1. Then x1 m, x2 k minus m. M is varying from n to 2n minus 1 plus, this way it will go on. Okay, so it will go on up to the maximum possible length. Okay, we are writing it. Why I am writing it for infinite terms? Because the signals are periodic. Okay, so they are circularly varying. So they can take the shape continuously, either in the forward direction or in the reverse direction. For positive index, they will move forward direction. For negative index, they will move in the reverse direction. That is, this is x0, then x minus 1, x minus 2, x minus 3, x minus 4. This way we will get it in a negative reverse direction. So in linear convolution, we are adding technically, theoretically, the definition extends from for m extending from minus infinity to plus infinity. So it can be of any length, infinite length in general. It can be of infinite length in general. Let's see. So once we know this particular thing, then we have to manipulate it according to our requirement. Okay, now we just take, this is the leftmost term. So we can write it, the leftmost term in the right hand side of the relation is what? This term, summation m varying from minus n to minus 1 x1 m x2 k minus m. So that is equal to, now we are taking m plus n equal to some u. So let m plus n equal to some u. Then when m equal to minus n, then u will be 0. And when m equal to minus 1, then u will be n minus 1. So m will be replaced by u now here. So x1, m means it is u minus n. And x2, so k, then minus m means what? N minus u. So k plus n minus u. Get my point? Or we can write it is x1. So u minus n can be written as x1 u. Why? Recalling x u plus pn equal to xu, periodicity property. Periodicity property. For p equal to minus 1, what happens? P is an integer. X u minus n equal to xu. P is any integer, so you are taking, even when p equal to minus 1, x u minus n equal to xu. So x u minus n equal to xu. Then we can write it x1 u, x2. Now we can write it, it is what? K plus n minus u means it is k minus u. So again we can write x u plus pn equal to xu. For p equal to 1, what happens? X, okay, u plus n equal to xu. So when plus n is there, plus n can be removed. Plus n can be removed, k minus u is equal to, okay, xk minus u. So you can write x k minus u plus n equal to x k minus u. So from this we are getting that. So from these we are getting that, and from that we are getting this. Okay. So here we are getting u, but u is a dummy variable or temporary variable. As long as there are u's here and here, that u will come here. If you replace u with some other variable, that variable will be here. So better we change the index from u to m. So in that case, it will be x1 m, x2 k minus m. Then that m will come here. 0 to n minus. So we can write changing u to m. Changing u to m. So that is our leftmost term. This term equal to that. So this term is equal to that one. M equal to 0 to n minus 1. This is. This term is also m equal to 0 to n minus 1. So that term is actually effectively the same term. Now we want to, okay, so that is this particular thing. Now we want to see the rightmost term. Okay, so it is the leftmost term, it is the rightmost term. So I write it here, the rightmost term in the right hand side of the relation is what? That one. Summation x1 m x2 k minus m. So m equal to n to 2n minus 1. Okay, so now we can write it as summation. We write m minus n equal to u. Let m minus n equal to u. So when m equal to n, then u will be 0. When m equal to n, u will be 0. So u is 0. And when m equal to 2n minus 1, so 2n minus 1 minus n, so it will be n minus 1, u. And x1, m will be replaced by n plus u. And x2, it is k minus m is what? Minus n minus u. That one. There. Now I write it in the next page. Note that x of n plus u is, okay, xn, periodicity property. So I write it in the next page, page number 4. Let's see in the next page. So n plus u means u actually, periodicity property. So we are writing it. Therefore, x u plus n equal to x u. Your periodicity property. And the next one, x2, it is k minus n minus u. Okay. Then again I write it x1 u. And what's that term? We know x. Okay. U plus pn equal to xu. For p equal to minus 1, x u minus n equal to xu, periodicity property. So that can be written as x2 minus n can be removed here. Okay. Now we change u to m. So we can write changing u to m. So x1 m, x2 k minus m. M is varying from 0 to n minus 1. Yeah. So as a result, what is our yk? Our yk is actually this term is same as that term is same as this term. So they will repeat. So we can write our yk equal to summation x1 m, x2 k minus m. M is varying from 0 to n minus 1 plus x1 m, x2 k minus m. M is varying from 0 to n minus 1 plus again the rightmost term x1 m, x2 k minus m. M is varying from 0 to n minus 1. So same term repeats. So this is what? The same term is just added repeatedly to get yk. So this is a periodic expression 2, and its one cycle is of importance only. Its one cycle is of importance only. Okay, is of importance only. Hence, x1 m is varying from 0 to m minus 1. Okay, for one cycle only. Now we will use our equation 2. Okay, so using relation 2, now using relation 2, that is xr equal to x, r plus pn equal to x of r modulo n. They are same. Okay, it is obtained as yk equal to summation x1 of m modulo n, x2 of k minus m modulo n. It is m varying from 0 to n minus 1. And this is what it is actually. This form is for one cycle we are taking only, is called x1k. It is circular convolution of x2. So x1 circularly convert with x2. x1 circularly convert with x2. This is called circular convolution. This is called circular convolution. আচ্ছা আমি একটা কথা বলছি, এখন থেকে না আমার ওই একটু টাইমে আমার কিছু অ্যাডজাস্টমেন্ট করতে হয়েছে। আমার সেকেন্ড ইয়ারের ক্লাসটা এবার শুরু হয়েছে, ফলে আমি না আমার পক্ষে স্যাটারডেতে ক্লাস নেওয়া সম্ভব হবে না। তোমরা আমার থার্ড ইয়ার বি সেকশনের ক্লাস তোমরা আমাকে একটু অন্যদিন আরেকটা ক্লাস দাও ইনস্টেড অফ স্যাটারডে। টিউসডে 12 থেকে একটা ক্লাস তোমাদের আছে, আমার 12 বা 12:30 এরকম একটা আছে। ওয়েডনেসডেও 12:30 একটা ক্লাস তোমরা দিয়েছো। এর বাইরে তোমরা যদি চাও অন্য কোনো দিন 12 বা 12:30 থেকে আমার ক্লাস দিতে পারো। দ্যাট ইজ অ্যাপার্ট ফ্রম মানডে হবে না, কারণ মানডে সকালে আমার 12 থেকে একটা ক্লাস আছে। সো থার্সডে ফ্রাইডে 12 বা 12:30 থেকে আমি ফ্রি আছি, যদি তোমরা মনে করো হতে পারে। অথবা 4:30 থেকেও আমি একটা ক্লাস চাইলে তোমাদের নিতে পারি, সেটা হতে পারে ধরো থার্সডে হতে পারে বলে থার্সডে বা ফ্রাইডের মধ্যে একদিন নিতে পারি যদি মনে করো। অর্থাৎ থার্সডে ফ্রাইডের মধ্যে 12 বা 12:30 থেকে হতে পারে, অথবা 4:30 থেকে। 1 মিনিট ধরো আমি বলছি একটু। আচ্ছা, মানডে অথবা থার্সডেতে আমি 4:30 থেকে নিতে পারি, অথবা থার্সডে এবং বা ফ্রাইডেতে আমি 12 বা 12:30 থেকে নিতে পারি। আবার আমি রিপিট করছি, মানডে আর থার্সডে। ফ্রাইডে 4:30 হবে না, ফ্রাইডে 3ও হবে না, ফ্রাইডে 12 বা 12:30 হতে পারে। সো ফ্রাইডে পসিবল?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হতে পারে এটা। অন্যরা
ঠিক
বলুক।
আছে, তোমরা একটু কথা বলো, আমাকে তো ওই অহন একটু জানিয়ে দিও হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ করে আর কি। মানডে বা এবং থার্সডে 4:30 থেকে হতে পারে, অথবা থার্সডে এবং ফ্রাইডে 12 or 12:30 থেকে হতে পারে।
স্যার
আমাকে
12
অহন
থেকে
একটু
বলছে
জানিয়ে
এরা
দিও
সবাই
হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ
গ্রুপে।
করে, আমাকে মুখে বললে মনে থাকবে না।
স্যার গ্রুপে বলছে 12 থেকে হবে ওদের।
ঠিক আছে, ওকে।
ঠিক আছে।
Okay, next is, now we want to see uh, that the circular convolution in context with DFT sequences. Let's see how it is coming. It's page number, this is page number 6 now. So circular convolution in context with DFT sequences. In context with DFT sequence. So now we use first the DFT of two sequences. It's what? Our x1n equal to the DFT of x1k. So what is the definition? It will be x1k e to the power minus j 2 pi by capital N so it is 0 to n minus 1, x1 k to the power minus j 2 pi by n kn. Again x to n, which is the DFT of
একটু জুম করবেন।
is summation x to k e to the power minus j 2 pi by n kn. K is varying from 0 to, ঠিক আছে?
একটু জুম করবেন।
Now, therefore, what is our now yn? Yn is the DFT, sorry, DFT of yk, which is summation yk e to the power minus j 2 pi by n into kn. K is varying from 0 to n minus 1. But yk, as I told you earlier, is the circular convolution of x1 with x2. Sorry, this small x1 with small x2. So we replace yk in terms of the expression of circular convolution between small x1 and small x2. So it will be k equal to 0 to n minus 1 as usual. Now in place of yk we are writing, okay, x1 m, x2 k minus m, where m is varying from 0 to n minus 1, okay. Then this e to the power term j 2 pi by capital N kn comes. This is, okay. Now we can simply rearrange summation, rearrange the order. So we are writing x1 m e to the power minus j 2 pi by n, then m into n. We are taking one m which is not here. Then it will be x2 k minus m e to the power minus j 2 pi by capital N. It will be k minus m into n. So it will be plus mn and minus mn, they cancel each other. And m is varying and k is varying from 0 to n minus 1. This particular term is coming here. Okay. Now this term we keep it intact. The first term, x1 m e to the power minus j 2 pi by capital N mn. Okay. Next is, here we put k minus m equal to some q. So x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Okay. So let q minus n, k minus m equal to q. So when k equal to 0, when k equal to 0, then q equal to minus m. And when k equal to n minus 1, then q is n minus 1 minus m. Okay, n minus 1 minus m. That is this particular term. Okay. So now we keep this term same intact. We want to investigate this particular term. So that's this term only. So x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn, q is varying from minus m to n minus 1 minus m, or summation x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Now q equal to minus m to minus 1. We are taking up to minus 1 term, plus, then I am writing it, q is varying from, next term is 0 to n, okay, minus 1 minus m, that term. Then it will be x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Clear? So that's this one. Just we are segregating that entire summation into two parts. One up from minus m to minus 1, another next term 0 to n minus 1 minus m, the last term. Okay, up to this. Okay. Then what we do, that is equal to, here this one, we are just, instead of writing q, we write it minus q. So x2 minus q, here q is replaced by minus q. So it will be e to the power j 2 pi by n qn. So minus q is replaced by minus q. So minus of minus q is plus q. But when q is replaced by minus q, then that q will change from m to 1. Okay. So q equal to minus m to minus 1 means here q equal to m to 1. Because we are writing minus q in place of q. It is reversed actually. Time reversed. Plus The second term will be intact, no change. So q equal to 0 to n minus 1 minus m. x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Here, now we can apply. I write in the next page, we will apply a periodicity property. We will write plus capital N. We know xu equal to xu plus n, capital N. So minus q plus n will be written, periodicity property. So write it in the next page. Number 7. Thus x2 minus q is written as minus q plus n, periodicity property. Okay. Okay. Then e to the power j 2 pi by n into q n. But the q will be same, m to 1 plus this summation x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Q is varying from 0 to n minus 1 minus m. Okay. R. So x2r, we are writing it e to the power. So I write let q, let n minus q equal to some r xr. So e to the power j 2 pi by n. Now q is what? N minus r. Q, so we are writing it is n minus r into n. And we know when q equal to m, r will be equal to n minus m. So r equal to n minus m. And when q equal to 1, r is n minus 1. This particular term plus that term x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Q is varying from 0 to n minus 1 minus n. Okay. Now what happens? We just rearrange. We change R to Q. Just changing the index R to Q in the first term. So it is x2 q, R is replaced by q. E to the power j 2 pi by n, n minus q into n. And here q is, R is replaced by q, n minus m, n minus 1 plus x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Okay. Q is varying from 0 to n minus m minus 1. We are writing. So we are writing changing R to Q. Then what else? We can write it as, I write the second term here. So Q equal to 0 to n minus m minus 1 x2 q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. That one. Okay. And here that term we are writing here plus summation q equal to n minus n to n minus 1 x2 e to the power. Now I can write it j 2 pi by n, n minus q into n. That one. Yeah. Now this thing can be written as q equal to 0 to x2q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn plus the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. So just we are segregating it. N and n cancels here. So this is what? It is equal to cos 2 pi n plus j sin 2 pi n. So cos it is 1. So you can ignore it. Plus sorry, this is x to q. I forgot to write q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. So here we are writing e to the power j 2 pi n equal to 1. So what we get finally? This is equal to, say q is varying from 0 to n minus m minus 1. The next term is n minus m here, 2 up to last term. So q equal to 0 to n minus 1. There we are adding x to q e to the power minus j 2 pi by n qn. Okay. So that is our term. So it is our which term? Our this particular term or that term. So here, so we can write it. So our yn, capital Yn, which is the DFT of yk, can be written as the product of two summation sign. I write it in the next page. Or better, I can write it here also because just only one line. Hence, x1m e to the power minus j 2 pi by n okay mn m is varying from 0 to n তাহলে একটু টাকা নিয়ে যায় সংজ্ঞা আসার সময়। That one. So this is the DFT of x1 and the DFT of x2. So what we can write? I write it yn equal to x1n into x2n. So the circular convolution in time domain means product of DFT coefficients in frequency domain. So a circular convolution in time domain leads to the multiplication of their DFT coefficients. Clear? So that is the proof of this thing. So that is the relation between circular convolution and DFT coefficients. DFT. Today I like to stop with this particular thing. I would like to request Ahon to send me the fresh schedule in my WhatsApp so that I may not miss any class. আমি আসলে ভুলে যাই, মনে থাকে না, ওই জন্য একটু হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে ফ্রেশ শিডিউলটা একবার পাঠিয়ে দিই। ঠিক আছে, আজকে এই অবধি।